Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, good morning and welcome to the opening ceremony of the USA Partnership Pavilion at the 53rd Paris Air Show. My name is Tom Kallman, the President and CEO of Kallman Worldwide, organizer of the USA Pavilion since 1995, and host for this morning's event. It's a loaded program and a star-studded audience, so please forgive me in advance, as there are many government and industry leaders who, in the interest of time, may not be directly recognized. Friends, for the last 24 years, it has been our tradition to open the USA Pavilion by playing the French and the U.S. national anthems, so please join me now as that tradition continues.
Saturn, the Columbia, the Eagle, and the little EMU, the spacesuit and backpack that was our small spacecraft out on the lunar surface. We'd like to give a special thanks to all those Americans who built those spacecraft, who did the construction, design, the test, and put their heart and all their abilities into those crafts. To those people, tonight we give a special thank you.
Thank you. Team USA, we're all on a mission, and introducing our inspirational team leaders, our Apollo mission crew. From Apollo 7, the first manned Apollo flight, which returned momentum to and added and reinstilled confidence in America's space program. His actions and those of the Apollo 7 crew paved the way for the success of all future manned Apollo missions. Decorated Marine Corps fighter pilot and Apollo 7 lunar module pilot, Walter Cunningham. Walt. U.S. Military Academy Class of 55, Air Force fighter pilot, test pilot, engineer, lifetime proponent of STEM education and regular supporter of the USA Partnership Pavilion around the world, the first person to execute a deep space EVA and whose 65 solo lunar orbits earned him the title of the world's most isolated human being. Apollo 15 Command Module pilot, Al Worden. Al. And from Apollo 16, graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy and MIT, fighter pilot, test pilot, who was specifically requested by Neil Armstrong to serve as Capcom for Apollo 11, where his voice was heard by hundreds of millions of people around the world when the Eagle had landed. Ladies and gentlemen, the world's youngest moonwalker and one of only 4 men alive that have walked on the face of the moon, Apollo 16 lunar module pilot, Charlie Duke. Charlie. Walt and Charlie are joined this morning by their lovely wives, Dot and Dorothy. Ladies, you know it's a special honor to have you with us this week. Thank you to be here. Glad to be here. For those of you who are interested, you'll be able to see and hear from our Apollo astronauts, all-stars, right here in the launch pad this afternoon from 2 to 3 o'clock. In a very special presentation that's brought to you by ULA, and I believe, Tori, you're going to be leading that event as well. I want to thank you for your partnership here at the Launchpad and in general. I also want to thank our sponsors from ASI, General Atomics, the Greater Houston Partnership, Lockheed Martin, and Raytheon. Guys, you know this, we could not do this without your support, so I'd like to have a round of applause for all of our partners this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, around you are more than 285 of America's finest aerospace firms. Surrounded by red aisle carpet and with fire in their eyes, American businessmen and women have suited up for victory this week, and as the world turns its attention to this event. But in the spirit of this week's theme, I wanted to remind everybody that with just 15 minutes of flight experience in space, only 15 minutes our country had been in outer space, President John F. Kennedy made his bold proclamation at Rice University in 1961 that we would go to the moon, quote, not because it is easy, but because it's hard. And although that is the most frequently quoted phrase from that day, my favorite happened a few minutes later when he said that we would go to the moon with alloys not yet created, in a vehicle that fit exactly to the specific specifications of the Saturn V. I always thought, man, that was pretty bold of him. We're going to the moon with alloys not yet invented. Then I started thinking about this pavilion and about you exhibitors and how many alloys, inventions, processes, products, and goodness knows what you have invented in the 24 years that I have had the honor of standing on this stage. President Kennedy was indeed bold, but you, the aerospace industry, you are the reason he could be that bold, because you listen, you invent, and you deliver. Kallman Worldwide is proud of the supporting role that we play, and we love that we are all on a mission with you. Ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, it's my pleasure to introduce the leader of the American community in France, the Honorable Jamie McCourt. Madam Ambassador.
Thank you, Tom. Hope everyone can hear me with this high. So I'm on a mission to be as smart as these three guys sitting in front of me. I can tell you I went to MIT and nobody asked me to be an astronaut. So here I am instead, congratulating you, all of you, for being our astronauts. I can't tell you how proud I feel when I see the national anthem like that in this pavilion with all of you. It's really overwhelming. So anything that I thought I was going to say and thought I was going to be logical about, it's really hard to do. I find it completely emotional and overwhelming. I can tell you exactly where I was, as many of you can, when the Apollo flight landed on the moon, because I was a kid in camp in Maine, and like everyone else, we grew up looking at the moon and looking for the man in the moon and the cow jumping over the moon, and no one ever imagined that you could touch the moon. And so when all of this happened, we were one television in a camp and eating popcorn, and you landed. And I grew up after that, have 4 boys, and every night I read to them, "Good night, moon." And it took on a completely different meaning. So this childhood book became something that to me was symbolic of the American dream. We hoped to be on the moon. Kennedy said we would be on the moon. You guys got to the moon. And so the American dream just continues to live on. And whatever you're doing next and whatever inventions you're going to come up with, we are so lucky to have people who are as brave, as adventurous, as creative, as brilliant, and that goes for all the industry that supports you and creates for America. And I am so proud to be American. I can't even begin to tell you. It's really an honor to be here. I am the lucky one because we have great partners with the French in so many ways in this beautiful country, and nothing could be more important to the bilateral relationship than what you do, because at the end of the day, this is our security, this is our military, this is our commercial industry, and this is America. So I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my heart. I want to welcome all of you here. And I want to turn it over to my friend, the Secretary, Wilbur Ross.
Thank you, Jamie, for that introduction. It's very rare I'm introduced by a beautiful woman from MIT. So I thank you, and it's appropriate to this occasion. It's my honor to be here with such a distinguished group of aerospace executives, and especially to be once again in the company of 3 Apollo astronauts who helped pioneer the entire space age. The U.S. is fully committed to its aerospace industry, and we will do whatever is necessary for this industry to continue leading the world. Aerospace is our best industry in terms of balance of payments. 70% of its sales are exports, and our aerospace exports are the largest of any country in the world. President Trump and Vice President Pence have committed the U.S. government to reinvigorate the commercial space industry. We look forward to the Artemis mission back to the moon. It is aptly named, both because Artemis was the sister of Apollo and because this mission will bring the first woman ever to walk on the moon. That's a great achievement in both regards. The spectacular pavilion that Kallman Worldwide has built shows how dedicated the United States is to a vibrant aerospace industry. 6,250 square meters is a big space, a lot bigger than a space capsule. And it houses some 350 exhibitors. Both are records for this event. Congratulations to everybody involved. We look forward to supporting all of your companies and all of your future missions. I hope everyone has a successful week here in Paris. That is the mission all of us are on, and this air show will propel us to hypersonic forward speed in that effort. Thank you very much.
And the man who leads the agency that's going to get us there. It's my honor to introduce the Honorable Jim Bridenstine, the Administrator of NASA. Jim, great to hear.
Thank you, Tom, and welcome to the USA Partnership Pavilion. What a great day, what a great time. And this year, we're celebrating 50 years of Apollo. So thank you all for being here. And I'd like to say, Tom, just to start, you mentioned that the president said in 1962 at Rice University, my alma mater, go Owls hoot. I see some owls in the audience. You mentioned that he said we're going to go to the moon with alloys that have not yet been invented. Think about that for a second. But also think about what we're doing at this air show. This air show is about business. It's about economic development. And when you think about what our space agency has done for all of humanity and all of humankind going back to the Apollo era, and a lot of people don't recognize it, but we think about how we communicate. Some people have Dish Network or DirecTV. Maybe people listen to XM radio. Some people, maybe people from rural Oklahoma, like myself, we get internet broadband from space. All of these communication technologies were born from this little agency that today gets less than 0.5% of the federal government. Less than 0.5%. But it's not just about communications. It's also about navigation. We talk about GPS. Yes, it's operated by the Air Force these days, but this is a technology developed by this little agency called NASA. The way we communicate, the way we navigate, the way we produce food in the United States of America and soon all around the world. We are increasing crop yields while decreasing water use and preserving nitrates in the soil because of NASA technology studying the planet that we like most, the only planet we know to host life, although that could be changing in the near future, namely the planet Earth. So the way we communicate, the way we navigate, the way we produce food, the way we produce energy in a more clean way than ever before, the way we do national security and defense, the way we predict weather. All of our weather satellites built by this little agency called NASA for the Secretary of Commerce and NOAA. But these technologies and capabilities that have elevated the human condition are critically important, and also the technologies that we have that help us understand how the Earth is changing all of the time. And when we think about banking, every banking transaction in the United States is dependent on a timing signal from GPS. So we think about all of these capabilities and all of these technologies. People say, why did we go to the moon in the 1960s? I'll tell you why. Because it has elevated the human condition in ways that nobody in the 1960s ever imagined. And today, we have yet another opportunity. Madam Ambassador, you mentioned that you remember right where you were when we landed on the moon in 1969, July 20th. I can tell you I don't have that memory. I was not around yet. In fact, I'm the first NASA administrator that was not alive when these fine gentlemen were doing their great work on behalf of the United States of America and, in fact, on behalf of the world. I wasn't there, but here's what we've got going on now. Now we're going back to the moon. And this time when we go to the moon, we have a very diverse, highly qualified astronaut corps. 50 years ago, we called it Apollo. It just so happens that Apollo has a twin sister. Her name is Artemis, and she also happens to be the goddess of the moon. This time when we go to the moon, we're going sustainably, and we're going to go with this very diverse, highly qualified astronaut corps that includes women. So under a program named after the twin sister of Apollo, Artemis, we are now going to send women to the moon for the first time. And I think that's important. I have an 11-year-old daughter. I want her to see herself having every opportunity that I saw myself having growing up. And I think this is the time for that to happen. Here we go. It's interesting, I've said these words many times in the past, and it's always a lady that steps up and starts the applause, so thank you for doing that. So we're going back to the moon, and the question is, what are the new technologies? What are the new things that are going to come from this program? And I'll tell you, there's a lot underway right now, and there's a lot yet to be discovered. But now we're going to the moon sustainably. In other words, we're going to stay. We're going to utilize the resources of the moon. We're here at the Paris Air Show because we're going with our partners. We're going with commercial partners and international partners. We're going to retire the risk, prove the technology, and we're going to take it on to Mars. So it's a great day to be here at the Paris Air Show, celebrating 50 years of Apollo at the USA Partnership Pavilion, and we look forward to engaging with all of our international partners as we move forward. Thank you so much for having us.
Well said, well said.
Thank you.
That's a tough act to follow. Thank you very much, Jim. But ladies and gentlemen, Team USA at the Paris Air Show, there's those of us in suits, but there's a lot of men and women in uniform outside and inside. And let me tell you, when we're in here in our business meetings, those guys are out there parade rest in the hot sun, demonstrating to the world that we are absolutely the #1 fighting force on the planet. It's my honor to introduce to you the Honorable Matthew P. Donovan, the Acting Secretary of the Air Force. Matthew.
Well, thank you very much, Tom, Jerry. It's great to see you again. I appreciate being here, and it's always good to hang around with a fellow Eagle driver. So, like the ambassador said, I'm as giddy as 10-year-old Matt Donovan was when Apollo 11 landed on the moon, and you guys are my heroes that I grew up with, just adoring and wishing I could be like someday. And always wanted to go to space, didn't quite get there. Well, kind of close. I tried to intercept an SR-71 once, and I got about as close as I'd ever get with that. But on behalf of the 685,000 total force airmen, thank you to the U.S. industry and the skill, innovation, and dedication of providing the very best tools for our warfighters. And I mean the very best tools. They appreciate that. And also, some of those 685,000 will also be members of the future United States Space Force that will also protect our American equities in space. So it's a great day. It's a great time to be here and with all of you, and I look forward to meeting and talking with all of you. And without any further delay, I'll introduce Mr. Eric Fanning, the president of AIA. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. On behalf of our chairman, Bill Brown, who's also the chairman and CEO of the Harris Corporation, and all of us at the Aerospace Industries Association, I want to thank you for being here. Our industry believes that American products provide the best value and American companies provide the best partnerships. And we're so proud to show them off here at Paris at the Air Show. This year, though, we have even a little bit more cause for pride because it's AIA's centennial. Our industry is a vital cornerstone of American history, as shown 50 years ago when we dared to dream beyond the skies and supported the Apollo 11 mission that put the first men on the moon. And it's important that we all gather here in Paris because our industry depends on global relationships, markets, and supply chains. And together we've had incredible success, as shown by AIA's newly released industry figures. Last year, 2018, our industry generated more than $929 billion in economic output. And we saw a positive trade balance of nearly $90 billion, the largest of any U.S. industry. Those numbers were both up over 2017. Our workforce has grown to include more than 2.5 million people, representing 20% of the manufacturing workforce in the United States. And in 2018, we paid out $236 billion in wages and benefits, with our employees earning a salary 87% above the national average. Again, an increase from 2017. Those numbers are a lot to be proud of. They're the result of government and industry working together to unleash innovation and level the playing field for U.S. business around the world. And I know 2019 can be even stronger. But we can't be successful without the right people. So as we think what we've done in the past, what we're doing today is evidenced by everything in this pavilion and out on the field. We've got to think about the future as well. And we're excited to see those future leaders of our industry compete at the International Rocketry Challenge later this week. Wisconsin's Madison West High School will represent the U.S. against teams from the UK, Japan, and France, trying to bring home a 5th straight American victory. It's inspiring to see these young students with a passion for science, but it's not inspiring it's surprising, because inspiring is what you all do. It's what our industry is all about. So thank you again for being here and making Paris such a successful forum for American industry. And best of luck in the coming days for a great air show in Paris. Thank you, Tom.
We had one other presenter that wanted to join us this morning, but for obvious reasons, they were unable to be here. Stand by 1 second. International Space Station, this is the U.S. Pavilion. Station, U.S. Pavilion, how do you copy? Yeah.
Good day, and welcome to the International Space Station. I'm NASA astronaut Nick Hague, along with my crewmate NASA's Christina Cook. Flying 250 miles above the Earth, traveling 17,500 miles per hour, we have the distinct honor of living and working aboard this magnificent orbital laboratory. As we near the 50th anniversary of humanity's first footsteps on the moon, we want to add our congratulations to those provided by Walt Cunningham, Al Worden, and Charlie Duke, as the world celebrates the achievements of the Apollo program.
We wish each of you much success this week as you showcase the innovative products and services that American innovation and industry can offer our partners around the world. The Paris Air Show is truly magnifique. Good luck, and as you all say best, we're all on a mission.
So then, with that, Kallman operations, are we go for launch? Sales. Life support. That's the girls who make the coffee, by the way. We call them the life support. Creative services. Sponsors. Hey. Madam Ambassador. Apollo crew. Then let's do this thing.
15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11. Tower cleared.
Here we got a roll program.
Neil Armstrong reporting the roll and pitch program, which puts Apollo 11 on a proper heading.
Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Pavilion is open for business. I'd like to ask our honored speakers to join us on the stage. We can have a nice photo. And we're going, what's that? After we have this, I'd like to bring up the various groups of governors and CODELs, and so stick around. But, sir, please join us, Mr. Secretary. But we are open for business. Although foreigners in the groups, we do take MasterCard and American Express. So you're welcome. And wire transfers. Could I ask our sponsors from Lockheed and ASI and Harris and thank you. General Atomics, Mr. Blue, could you join us? And the Greater Houston Partnership, could you all come on up here, please? Thank you. Tori, you're most welcome. Where are you at? No, just the sponsors. And so, yes, please. Senator Shelby, if you and your guys could get ready, we'll be up next. Please come and join us. Just getting close, guys, and we'll take a picture, and then our congressional delegates will join us there. You know, it was sort of designed that we could do. Yeah, they're coming up next. Come on up here, Chief. Squeeze in there. Get. I know what happened. I know what happened to the guy in the end. Turn, hey, Al, you guys turn a little bit sideways. We need a little bit more room.